Recording. There we go. All right, welcome tonight. I know a lot of people are busy, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Of course, it's me, Dominique Barbie, and my husband, Aaron Barbie, is over here in the corner.
This guy. Who's that guy?
There's my brother in the background, too. I told him we're going to do these basics. So, today, what we're going to talk about is simply the basics today. And I know there's a lot of new people here. I know there's a lot of people who may or may not know what Forex exactly is. Some of you do know. But what I want to ask you today is, what if you could, in 1 hour, 2 hours, make the same amount or more than you do at an 8-hour job, okay? Type of one, if you feel like you will want something that can produce that type of results. This type of one, if you feel like that will be awesome, if you can be at home, you know, eating, chilling, whatever you're doing, whatever you want, and in literally 1 to 2 hours or less, you can make the same amount you make at a regular 8-hour job. Okay. A lot of people are saying one. Yes. That is actually what I wanted to do, okay? But of course, I had bigger dreams. You know, I wanted to get a house. I wanted to get a new car. I wanted a lot of things, of course. And this Forex thing, you know, I kept hearing about. I didn't know what it was. So when I finally, you know, got a chance to get involved, I realized, you know, just talking to people who have been successful in the Forex industry, that the people who will be consistently profitable are the serious ones, okay? The people who have goals, the people who have their, you know, their ideas written down, those people are going to be the ones who are successful. The people who do not take it serious, they're not going to be successful because a lot of times, you know, it's hard to say this, but the crazy part is a lot of people have to get to their breaking point before they do something about their lives, right? And that happened to me. I was at my breaking point when I really started to get serious about this. Hi. Hey, I'm so glad you can make it, Juliet. Awesome. Good. I'm so glad you can make it. I wanted you to be here. I was going to send you a message. So I'm glad you saw that. Awesome. So I want everybody just to pretend like they need this, no matter, like they really, really need it. When you do that, you will be successful. And I want to show you something now. Before I get started, as an income disclaimer, I'm not making any income claims. I'm not trying to give you financial advice. I'm not doing any of that. All I am doing, I'm not promising you any type of results or guaranteeing you anything, okay? All I am saying, this is education, okay? If you give a man a fish, he will eat for a day, but if you teach a man to fish, he will eat forever, okay? And that is what we are doing. We are teaching people how to fish, teaching people how to get profits in a $5.3 trillion industry, all right? Hi, Bobby. Hey, everybody. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you the power of something that the banks have been doing to a lot of people. You know, the banking system, if you really knew how it worked, you'd be like, oh, my God. So the money that you have in your bank account, they are using that money to flip it in part of it in the Forex market, part of it in different type of real estate and getting land. But a lot of it is in the Forex market. And most people do not know that. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, somebody else is sharing next screen. I don't know how they was able to do that. Okay. Do you want to? Yes. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you a website. Let me make sure I have it up. Hold on, let me show you. This is like one of my favorite websites now. Trust me.
Leading.
Okay, let me see if I can. Here it is, right here. Now, this is something that a wonderful business partner of mine showed me. And once he showed me this, I was just like, are you serious? Now, I knew about compound interest, but I didn't know that if you have a trading plan, a Forex trading plan, that you can actually accomplish this, okay? What he said was, if you go to compounddaily.com, all right, and you can bookmark that, all right? And if you took $100 at 5% per day, okay, you will have over $651,760, okay? Now, I know for a fact, type of two, if you could use that type of money, over $500,000, just type of two, if you feel like you could use that type of money. Come on now. How far would you go to learn a skill that will actually show you how to do this? Now, the crazy part is that we are actually accomplishing this. on a daily basis, and sometimes 10%. Okay, that's the crazy part, because we took it seriously. We didn't let anything stop us. Okay, even when times got a little bit crazy and we didn't know what was going on or what the lines meant and stuff like that, we just knew if we just took it very, very seriously, we could do this. Okay, and so can you. Now on this chart is basically going to tell you your daily goals to make per day. This is without talking to anyone. This is without harassing friends and family or anything like that. That's the crazy part, that we have actually locked arms with the opportunity that allows us to help and impact the lives of others and teach people this skill. This type of stuff is purpose driven, because at the end of the day, a person making $500,000 or more per year does not have to talk to anyone. Okay, so do you think anybody who has invited you or anybody who has introduced this to you, they truly must care, because they do not have to do that, especially on this team that we are on. Nobody has to tell anyone, but we do it because we want to help people. We want to impact it. And if the person who told us about this didn't tell us about this, we would still be doing the same things we were doing at first. Okay, so this basically tells you your income goals for the day. Okay, but you're probably like, how do I do that though? I'm going to explain to you the first step in Forex. So I'm going to go on my back office, all right? And what I want you to do is write the website babypips.com, okay? Babypips.com. If you are not in iMarkets Live, you need to write down babypips.com, okay? Because you don't have access to these tools. But today I'm going to give you a little bit of the basics so you can understand, okay? Babypips.com is a free site where you can learn how to trade Forex, okay? Now, someone told me, they said, you don't need to join that company. You can go to babypips.com and learn whatever you need. Guess what? I went to babypips.com a year ago, and I went to that site, and I was just going to it. I was like, I don't know what the heck they're talking about. So I literally gave up Forex. I was like, I'm not going to learn this. I don't know what they're talking about. And so I'm grateful that the person who told me about it actually, inspired me to do this. All right. And the person who came down to me and showed me that these products and services work, I'm grateful for them as well. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is what is Forex. Okay. I'm going to show you right here. Hopefully, I'm gonna make sure y'all can see my screen. I'm in the back office. I like the IML TV. Somebody said I like the IML TV. Philip said that's in 9 months. Yep. But these are trading days. Remember, it's trading days. There's no weekend. So it could be 9, it could be a year. Either way, that's a lot. Okay. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm on the right screen. I'm gonna show you what is Forex really quick. Here we go. And it's gonna show you the history of Forex. And when I saw this video, I was like, oh my goodness. All right. So take notes. All right. Pay attention. And this is the history of Forex, so you can get an idea of what it is. So do y'all want to do the history, or do y'all want to do what is Forex? Which one do y'all want to do? Because I want to make it time. I don't want to take too much time.
It's very easy. Type of 1 if you've ever traded before. Type of 2 if you've never traded before, and you'll know what they need after that. Because some people, people at least have to know who the market participants are, so you can watch the proper news when certain moves are made. You know what I mean?
Most people have never heard of, so we're going to go to what is Forex. Okay, we're going to go to what is it. Okay, so you can kind of know what it is. Most people really don't know what it is. Mm-hmm. And once you know what it is, and I'm going to go to the history first, so you can kind of see, this kind of opened my eyes. All right.
Hello, IML students. Today, we are going to learn about the history of Forex. It is important to know about the history of Forex because we need to understand how our money system has worked in the past in order to understand how it can change and how to use it to our advantage moving forward. Before we get started, here's a little bit about myself. My name is Adeze Duncan, representing iMarkets Live. Some of you may know me from Forex 101 on IML TV. Also, I was an educator for 10 years, and now I'm here educating you on the facts and methods of Forex. In order to get started on this journey, you need to remember one thing and one thing only. I am a student, always. This is very important for you to remember and to remind yourself of often. You will hear me use this phrase frequently as a reminder that you are a student that is learning a skill that will pay you for the rest of your life. Make sure that you take your time and learn what you need to learn. Pace yourself. Do not compare yourself to anyone else's progress. Always keep a winning mind frame, and you will do very well in this industry. Upon finishing this video, you should have a very good understanding of the following questions. Read through them quietly to yourself. As you are taking notes, make sure to pause this video in order to answer these questions. Now let's get started on the history of Forex. Starting with the bartering system. In the bartering system, people exchanged goods for services. People typically traded things such as livestock, skills, talents, grains, and agriculture, and even people. With the bartering system, people traded things they didn't need for things they wanted or needed. For example, the hunter might trade 10 rabbits to the carpenter for the carpenter's roof. The bartering system may have been very easy to establish. However, it was very much rigged with issues. For instance, what if you had something that no one else wanted? It would be very hard to exchange. The limited shelf life also presented an issue. If you were trading livestock or agriculture, their condition depended on their age and condition. For example, you wouldn't get very much money with a bunch of dying fruits and vegetables. Trying to transfer those types of goods and services would put a huge demand on the trader. They would have to travel with a large barrage of people in order to care for their property that they wanted to exchange. Many times, goods would spoil and animals would often die during transport. There was also the issue of fairness in exchange. Both people would have to agree about what each wanted before the exchange could be done. Another issue was trying to do business in small increments. Most things had to be traded in bulk. Eventually, the bartering system was abandoned for a more intermediate commodity system. In ancient China, Africa, and India, they used cowrie shells. Trade in Japan was based on the koku, which was a unit of rice. The shekel was a specific weight of barley. Contrary to popular belief, precious metals have rarely been used outside of large societies in the form of trade due to them being very scarce and hard to mine. Gold in particular has only been used as currency for a few relatively brief periods in history. Money in the shape of small knives and arrows made out of bronze were used in China during the Zhou dynasty. This form of money was quickly abandoned over time for something less prettily shaped and in the form of a circle, which later became some of the first coins. The first minted coins were created in Lydia in 700 BC, which is now modern-day Turkey. And by minted, I mean coins that were already pre-weighed and marked to show how much they weighed. These coins were made from electrum, which was a mixture of silver and gold that occurs naturally. These coins had a lot of advantages. Now people could actually trade what they wanted for what they needed and exchange coinage rather than goods and services that had to be agreed upon. Coins were also easier to transport rather than transporting all your goods and services under the bartering system. Uniform coins also meant that merchants did not have to use scales to measure metal, which is a very time-consuming process. At a glance, they could determine countries began adopting the coin form of currency in order to participate in foreign trade. There were, however, disadvantages to the coin system. For instance, coins' weight could change over time due to normal wear and tear. Also, there were criminals who would intentionally file down currencies, which was an offense punishable by death. And also, coins could be counterfeited, unlike in the bartering system. Lastly, coins were also very heavy to carry around in large quantities. Also, it was dangerous to carry these large amounts of money. The Chinese invented paper money in the form of notes, or IOUs, around 700 AD. It became too cumbersome to carry around coins of different increments and weights. Eventually, the people of China allowed private institutions to store their gold and silver coins in exchange for certificates that correlated directly to what they personally had stored. These paper notes could then be easily exchanged back into electrum. The advantages to paper was it was very easy to transport due to it being light. Foreign trade became even easier now that you could give specific denominations of what you wanted to exchange. When Marco Polo visited China, he brought the idea of paper money back to Europe with him, where at the time, the Italian florin, which was a type of coin, was universally accepted. Unfortunately, these papers could also be easily counterfeited. While these notes were supposed to be a representation of the money being stored, these institutions frequently issued more notes than they had gold and silver, which ultimately hurt the public's confidence in these institutions. These private institutions also gave rise to the use of banks controlled by governments, such as the Federal Reserve, which acted similarly during the gold standard system, which will be talked about shortly. Paper money would not see popularity in the West until about the 1600s, when the bank institutions were created to store gold. Right before World War I, many countries began printing more paper money than they had gold. As a result, this caused a devaluing of their money. At one point, it got so bad in Germany that at one point people were burning wheelbarrows of paper money during the winter in order to stay warm. After World War I, many of the countries came back together to pick up the pieces of their currencies. They all agreed that the gold standard, where their currencies would all be backed by gold. For example, $1 would equal 1/2 ounce of gold. That's just an example. Again, this advantage was desirable because now it meant that people no longer had to carry their gold around with them. However, the problem was, if there was a net transfer of currency from one country to another, then the gold would also have to follow. You can already imagine that that was not the case and that did not happen. Also, all countries had to be on the same page and agree not to print money just because. As in the case of all of the other monetary systems, eventually countries began to abandon the gold standard during the Second World War, as they began to print a lot of money to fund their military projects. As they printed more money, the value of the gold to dollar ratio went down even more. After World War II, countries came together to determine a monetary trading system that would work. They wanted something that would allow them to trade and keep currency exchange rates fixed. Also, they wanted to keep all countries in this agreement from printing more money when they needed it. They all agreed that the gold standard was too rigid and they needed something that would allow them to keep a leash on the overprinting of money while still allowing flexibility. In 1944, 44 countries came together in the Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, to come up with a monetary system that would be advantageous to all countries that decided to participate in foreign trade. Because the U.S. held 2/3 of all the world's gold at that time, the U.S. dollar was then chosen to become the world reserve currency, which meant that each other country would then peg their money to the U.S. dollar, and the U.S. dollar would then be pegged to gold. Now, that we're not on that same system anymore. However, the U.S. dollar is still utilized as the world's reserve currency. As a result, in the actual Forex market, you will notice that the US dollar has the highest amount of volume when it comes to trades because all countries tend to deal, well, not all countries, most countries tend to deal with the US dollar when it comes to trading. And now you know why. Out of this meeting came two types of institutions, the IMF and the World Bank. The IMF's job was to lend money to countries who needed help in order to keep them from printing more money, which would cause the other countries' money to become more devalued. The World Bank's job was to lend money to the new developing countries that wanted to expand and build up their infrastructure. This was also an effort to keep them from just creating money. The Bretton Woods system severely constrained the U.S. economy as they were constantly lending out more U.S. dollars while their gold reserves were continuing to dwindle due to most countries requesting gold in exchange for their currency. In 1971, Richard Nixon announced that they would no longer honor the gold exchange and announced that he would be taking the U.S. dollar off of the gold standard. What a big shock to the world. Nowadays, many countries' currencies are not backed by anything of value anymore. Instead, currencies' values are now determined by the floating exchange rate. Floating exchange rate regimes are not influenced by the government, but instead through the forces of supply and demand in the foreign exchange market, also called the Forex market or FX. Because the currency's value in a floating exchange rate regime are determined by supply and demand, their value can change and change freely and are determined by the foreign exchange market. Some countries included in this managed floating exchange regime include the US, Canada, the Eurozone, and England. On the other hand, China does not participate in the floating exchange rate regime. Instead, their currency is pegged to a basket of currencies. By now, you should have a good understanding of the following questions. Read them quietly to yourself, answer them, and when you are finished, go on to the next video in Forex Foundation 1 series.
All right. Now, the reason that I played that was so that people can know a little bit about the history. A lot of people don't know the history of money, and therefore that's going to make it a little harder. Now, the crazy part is, if you heard what they were saying, that they started to back everything. All the money used to be backed by gold, okay? That everything was backed by gold. And now, today, if you notice, barely no money is backed by gold. The dollar is backed by nothing but the belief of the people. That's it, okay? The president actually told everybody to give the government their gold. They literally, you can go to prison if you didn't give them their gold. And when I remember when I was little, I used to think like, how do they keep making this money? Can't they just print it? Yes, the government literally just prints the money, okay? And it used to be backed by gold, but it's not anymore. So therefore, he made everybody give the gold back. It was crazy. So that's part of the history of what happened. You know, we used to barter fruits and vegetables, and then we went to dollars, and we went to being backed by gold, and now the dollar's backed by nothing. Okay, so that's a little bit of the history, and I'm going to go over what exactly is Forex now. Okay.
Hello, IMO students. Today we're about to learn about what Forex is. I hope you're ready. Get your papers and your pens, and let's get ready to take some good notes, starting now. Before we get started, here's a little bit about myself. My name is Adeze Duncan, representing iMarkets Live. Some of you may know me from Forex 101 on IML TV. Also, I was an educator for 10 years, and now I'm here educating you on the facts and methods of Forex. In order to get started on this journey, you need to remember one thing and one thing only. I am a student, always. This is very important for you to remember and to remind yourself of often. You will hear me use this phrase frequently as a reminder that you are a student that is learning a skill that will pay you for the rest of your life. Make sure that you take your time and learn what you need to learn. Pace yourself. Do not compare yourself to anyone else's progress. Always keep a winning mind frame, and you will do very well in this industry. Upon finishing this video, you should have a very good understanding of the following questions. Read through them quietly to yourself. As you are taking notes, make sure to pause this video in order to answer these questions. Did you know that you've already participated in the Forex market? Maybe you didn't know that. But when you've gone to another country and you brought your currency with you to exchange in another country, you've actually already participated in the foreign exchange market. Imagine that. Just by taking your currency and exchanging it for theirs, and then upon leaving, re-exchanging, you have actually exchanged rates. So about these foreign exchange rates, this is the rate that buyers pay in order to exchange their currency. And to put it in a different way, this is the rate that you would pay when you take your currency and exchange it for whatever local currency you're trying to get. But then when you go back to change your currency, you have to use that same exchange rate because it costs money. You're pretty much buying that country's currency. And depending on the supply and demand for that currency at that particular time, it can change the rates. For instance, as we talked about with the market participants, if a certain currency is high on the demand list, and that means a lot of different participants are trying to get this foreign currency. If a lot of people are trying to get that, that means that that currency is high in demand. So what do you expect exchange rates to be? They're going to be much higher. Okay, so then that means if you're going to that country, your rate is going to be higher that you would have to pay out of your pocket. Now, if you go to a country whose exchange rate or whose currency is not that high at that time, is not a very high demand on it, then you're not going to pay as much for the exchange rate. And that's how that works. Now, this is why you should have by now seen major market participants. If you have not seen this, I strongly suggest that you stop. Don't even go any further in this video. Go back and watch the major market participants. It is eye-opening. It will help you understand who you're up against and how this can influence your trading. So to jog your memory about the supply and demand, Supply and demand is basically when you have a high demand in something, you can command a higher rate. When you have a low demand in something, then you can only command so much of a rate. So this goes back to the exchange rates. When a currency's rate, or excuse me, when there's a lot of demand on that currency, back to the market participants, when they are buying it up at a high rate, then you have a high demand and not a low, and then a very low supply, which means you can command a very higher rate. When you have countries that are more emerging and they don't have as much of a demand on them, then you tend to have a much lower exchange rate. So that's why when you go from one country to another and you're coming with a very high demand currency to a country with a low demand currency, that's why you have more buying power in that country. So on this screen right here, you have a look at live currency exchange rates. So if you're looking right now, you should be seeing them flicker. Some of them are changing, going back and forth. See, that one just changed. See how they're changing? This is all because of the market participants constantly buying and selling currency live. This is happening right now. So that means when you go from one country to another, there's no guarantee that you're going to get the exact same exchange rate. Sometimes you'll get a much better rate. Sometimes you'll get a much higher rate than what you originally exchanged for. Just how big is Forex really in comparison to all of the other markets out there? So now you're looking at this graph, and it looks pretty large. There looks like a really big difference between what you see. As you see, the New York Stock Exchange, the one in the green, for those of you who can't see, that's $22.4 billion that is exchanged. Then you have the Tokyo Stock Exchange, that's $18.9 billion that is exchanged on a daily basis. And then you've got the 7.2 London Stock Exchange, $7.2 billion is exchanged. Billion is quite a bit of money. Now, can you take a guess as to what you think the Forex market might be? How about Forex is a whopping $5.3 trillion per day exchanging industry, okay? That's a pretty big number. You should be very excited about that. Why is that? Because as long as those numbers continue to move back and forth, there's always potential for you to make money. All this talking about money being exchanged on a per daily basis makes you probably wonder, well, how do you actually profit in this Forex monster market? Let's put this in context that most people understand. Forex is just like real estate, where you buy a property and then you hold it for a little while and then you turn around and sell it and then you make a profit. It's the same thing in Forex, except it's a much faster process. You buy into a certain currency, such as the euro, you hold on to it for a little while, and then you turn around and you sell it for a different pair, such as the USD. As a result, you make money if your euro's exchange rate went up while you held it. And depending on how much you bought at that time is going to determine how much you get paid off of that one purchase. So it's a lot like house flipping. And just to clarify, in case you don't know, when I say house flipping, I am referring to buying a house, holding it, and then turning around and selling it for a profit. Now you know what Forex is and how you can profit. Now, here's the thing. Until you learn the skills and the psychology of trading, you will be gambling. If you decide to jump into this market and you think that you know what you're doing, you have no skill, no technique, and you don't even realize or care two thoughts about psychology, I just need to implore and inform you that you are gambling and you are not using proper skill or proper risk management. So please let us teach you how to trade with confidence, and not the false confidence that you got in the market. You had a couple good trades and now you think you're all that. No, I'm talking about the kind of confidence that is backed up by skill, backed up by data, backed up by real official confidence. Learn this skill, guys, and get that money. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching.
She's funny. She said, learn that skill and get that money. That's true. That is exactly how it works. When you learn the skill, once you learn it, that was actually a really good example. It's kind of like house flipping, where you buy the house low and you sell it when the price goes out. You fix it up a little bit. But in Forex, you don't have to do all that. You just have to learn the skill, have a few confirmations, which they teach you, right? And then you buy it when it's time based on your confirmations, okay? Now, the next thing, who thinks that is exciting? That if you could learn that, it's like house flipping, but without all the hard work, without all the big money. You don't need $100,000. Okay, who thinks that is exciting? Just say me real quick. If you $5.3 trillion, that's bigger than stocks. That's bigger than all of these different types of industry. Forex is the biggest industry in the world, and it's the only industry that has never crashed. Okay, the stock market has crashed. A lot of different things have crashed. Forex is the only one that has never crashed. The problem is they don't teach us this in school. And let me explain something. They don't want you to learn this. They want you to be confused. They want you to look at it and say, what is going on? I don't understand this. This is too hard. They want you to do that because guess what? When you do that, they're like, yes, they can't get all this money. They want all the money, literally. Okay, so now that does anybody have any questions so far before we move on to the next part? Okay, just ask your questions. It's fine. Let me make sure I am on the right tab. All right. Let me see if we have any questions. Okay, cool. Now, the next thing I want to show you is I want to show you how to actually open a demo account, okay? And most people on here, who type of one if you don't know what a demo account is, never opened a demo account or anything like that. Just type of one really quick so I get a gauge on who needs help opening a demo account. I'm going to show you how to open a demo account really quick. Probably take about 10-15 minutes to help everybody open the demo account. Now, the demo account is one of the most exciting things to do for a new Forex person who's new to Forex. It's so exciting, especially when you start to see the numbers change, you start to see the blue, and you start to see the profit. It's really amazing, okay? A demo account is basically, they allow you to actually practice trading in the Forex market, practice profiting before you even use your real money, okay? It's kind of like, you know, literally, it's just practice, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share with you how to open a demo account. The first thing you want to do is go to your Play Store app, or you can go to your iPhone or your Android and find the MetaTrader 4, okay? Go find MetaTrader 4. This is one of if you're going to do Forex, you want to have this app on your phone, okay? So go to MetaTrader4.com. I'm not MetaTrader 4, but on your app, I'm going to show you a picture on my screen. I'll show you exactly what it looks like. I actually did this on my Facebook page. I showed everybody how to do a demo as well. And if you don't get it here, you can go back to my Facebook page and look at the live I did on that, okay? So I'm going to go to my little extra page that I used to copy and paste all my stuff, okay? Let me show you really quick. So hopefully you went to that app, okay, and downloaded it. I'm going to find my pictures from the beginning. Okay, here it is, right here. All right, let me share my screen now. So basically, all we're doing so far, guys, is just learning, right? You've been through school for at least minimum of 12 years, okay? Is it 12 years or 10 years?
First grade to 12.
Yeah, about 12 years in school. All you're really doing with Forex is you take the time to learn, okay? And then you start to profit after you practice for a while and you learn how to double your account. Once you learn how to double or triple your account, you're good to go with live cash. Once you feel confident, okay? So let me share my screen. I'm going to show you really quick. Let me see where it is. This is actually the MetaTrader 4 app right here. Okay, this is what it looks like on your phone, guys, okay? This is exactly what you're going to start with. Open MetaTrader 4. The people who said they do not have MetaTrader 4 or a demo account, do this right now, okay? Does everybody have that? Type a 2 if you did it, okay? If you did it, you already have it downloaded, you're like, okay, come on, next step. Okay, good. Marie, Richard, you got it. Tiffany, Ray, Jatasha, does everybody have it? Good, good, good. This is the first step. Let's follow along, everybody. If you follow along, all you have to do is pay attention, and follow directions when you're learning this skill. That's all you have to do. All right, so the next one right here, and let me show you the next piece. Okay, so the next step you want to do is go to open a personal demo account, okay? Once you open it up on your phone, you choose open a personal demo account. Now the Forex market is closed on Saturdays. It's closed after 4 or 5 p.m. on Friday. So it's closed right now, but crypto is open. So we're going to do some crypto today because now you can trade crypto. Once you learn Forex, you can learn how to trade crypto as well because they kind of move the same. So now it's like actually instead of 5.3 trillion, it's actually over 9 trillion now because crypto has now been together with it. It's not like buying actual cryptocurrency, it's actually trading it. So it's pretty cool. So next thing you do is open a personal demo account. Does everybody have that? All right, download it. Good. Does everybody have that? Neil, Tiffany, Jatasha, Stingray, Ray, Sandra, Jantish, Richard. All right. Good job, everybody. Isn't this simple so far? It may be a little foggy still. It's okay. I'm telling you, just follow the rest and you'll make money. All right. Okay, so everybody has that. Open a personal demo account. Okay, that is the step 2. All right, good. Now the next step you want to do. This is not my page. This is my just don't even pay attention to this page. This is my actual page right here. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is go to JFX Demo 3. Okay, go to once it says choose a broker. If it's not popped up already, type in JAFX and it should pop up demo. Okay, that's the next step. All right, everybody got that? JFX demo. That's the next step. Okay, everybody find that on your phone. And we always say this in our team. We say if you got a smartphone and that smartphone not making you money, you got a dumb phone. Okay, now we about to turn your phone into an actual smartphone. Okay, a real life smartphone. Okay, JFX demo. A lot of people are saying yes, fine. JFX demo on your phone. And the next step is to go to the next step. All right, great. So once you do that, let me make sure. I don't have it on here. It's going to ask you a few questions to fill out your name, your email, your phone number. I'm just going to ask you the leverage. The leverage is actually 1/500, okay? 1/500. Did you find that? Once you click JFX, it'll take you to a screen. I don't have the screenshot of that, but it just asks you for your name, info, how much you want to open a demo account with, and stuff like that. Do y'all see that? Just type a yes if you see what I'm talking about. Type a no if you have no idea what I'm talking about. But it should be next after you click this, and you just fill out your information. Choose leverage is 1/500, okay, and choose the amount you want to start with. I would say you can start with like 5,000. You can do 3,000, stuff like that for now, okay. When you're demoing, you want to start with an amount that you would actually start with in real life. So if you're thinking in your head you want to start your account with $500, you want to choose the amount that's closest to that. I think the lowest is 3,000 on a demo, but just choose anything for now, okay? Okay, so everybody got that, I think? All right, so the next thing you want to find is the quotes or pairs or something like that. This is not the screen, but if you click this little arrow right here, you will see actual quotes of different pairs. It'll be like Euro USD. It'll be different things. Let me see if I can find it. Quotes on MetaTrader 4. All right, let's see if I can find the image. It's a quote screen. It looks like this. On the iPhone, it looks like this, okay? I think on an Android, it looks like this, okay? Just find the quotes, okay? Did everybody get that? Just find the quote screen. You're going to see the pairs. These are the Forex pairs that she was talking about. She was saying like Euro USD, AUD CHF, AUD JPY, GBP USD. You're going to see all these different types of things. And I want you to go, once you get it, go to the search bar or the plus sign at the top right, okay? And click that plus sign at the top right. Here it is right here. This little plus sign, because this is just a few pairs they have on here. These are nowhere near all of the pairs, okay? So if you're ever looking for a pair, like I'm gonna look for Bitcoin USD right here. It's not showing. You will go to this little plus sign, okay? Type in the search bar, type in BTC USD, BTC USD, okay? Bitcoin USD. BTC USD. Find that, okay? Search it in the bar and it should pop up and then click it, okay? Does everybody got that? Just find Bitcoin USD. I typed it in the bottom. Okay, that's Bitcoin. Okay, because these are closed right now for Saturday and end of Friday. They're closed. Okay, everybody got it? Great. Good job. You are learning Forex. If you have done this, you are literally learning Forex. That's amazing. There's only 1% of the world who are investors, and the investors are the highest paid people in the world. They control over 95% of the wealth, okay? Once you learn this type of knowledge, you are literally going into a different type of market of income, okay? I'm telling you, if you are here right now and you're doing this and you get far enough to start learning the part 2 of tomorrow and the next things we're going to go over, I will tell you, you will be thanking, you'll be taking whoever told you about this out to dinner. I highly suggest you do that or something, okay? Because you probably would not have known anything like this. So everybody got Bitcoin? Great. Go back to quotes and see if you can find Bitcoin, okay? Go to Bitcoin USD. It should pop up on the screen. If you did it right, you got to search it and you got to click it when you see it, and it'll pop up on the screen when you click Bitcoin USD. Did everybody get that? If y'all getting it, that's good. I just got to get y'all. I love helping people set up demo accounts. It's like one of my favorite parts because they're like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this. People think Forex is really, really hard. It's not. It's just a few things that you got to learn. It's not hard. It's just new, okay? It's not hard. It's just new, okay? So click on Bitcoin. Once you see it, go to Bitcoin USD and click new order. If you're on an Android, it'll say new order. If you're on an iPhone, it will say trade, okay? Does everybody see that? Once you click it, once you see it right here, just click Bitcoin USD and then click trade or new order, one of them. It will say one of them. I'm not sure which one it says.
And Bitcoin is about to take you guys on a lovely ride. The CME future contracts just ended yesterday. They're going to be releasing some new contracts, so look for some new pricing ranges to evolve from this. So get ready to ride that ride, no matter if it goes up or down, baby. We make the money.
We make money whether Bitcoin goes up or down, because if you buy and it goes up, you make money. If you sell and it goes up, you make money. Okay, so some people are just buying Bitcoin and holding it, but this, when you trade it, you can make even more money. So everybody found that? Click on new order, and then what you're going to see is the other screen that I had on had up. Okay, Alicia said crypto is back.
Yeah, baby.
Okay, so the other screen that I had up, let me see if I can find it. It was like a new order. Let me see if I can find it. Once you click it, you're gonna see the what is it? The lot size and all that good stuff. Let me see if I can find one on here. I saved it, but
get rid of that chat.
Let me see.
You can see more.
Let's see.
That kind of is one.
This is a good one I can save.
You're trying to look for where you actually enter in the lot size and all that type of stuff, right?
Right.
If you go into IML, the training on the iPhone or the Android, they show you.
Okay. I think this is it too. It's on the phone.
I would say mobile. On mobile.
I think most people got it.
In the phone.
Here you go. Awesome. Here it is right here. So it'll say Bitcoin USD at the top. It'll say a decimal, which is a lot size, which we'll go over on a later time. Okay. And then for this decimal, put 0.01. Okay. Put 0.01. If you see the decimal, when you click new order, make sure it's on instant execution.
Yeah, that does have to click the blue numbers to the left where it says minus. It'll subtract the number all the way down to what you want it to be.
If you touch it, you can change it with your keyboard or, you know. Does everybody have that part? Yeah, market execution. Keep it on market execution. Yeah, market execution or instant execution. They're both the same. 0.01. Okay. For now, that's a small lot size. Okay. And then I'm going to actually do it on my phone with you guys. so I can see what's going on. Demo. I'm gonna make sure it's on demo.
I'm going to Bitcoin USD.
Let me go to Bitcoin. I'm doing it with you guys. Does everybody have that? Bitcoin, type 0.01. If you don't have it, let me know. Did you see it?
Are you on MetaTrader 5 or 4? 4?
You see it? You got
Could
quotes?
you go back real quick?
Quotes?
Oh yeah, he only has one box.
You got JFX?
You probably have to. He's not.
Let me see which kind of. Oh, that's why you on. You're not on JFX. Hold on, let me. You're not on JFX. You gotta go to open a personal demo account, but choose JFX. They got crypto.
Mm-hmm.
You need this demo.
Okay.
Okay. And then you just find Bitcoin.
All right.
Good.
About that.
All right. So everybody got it? Great. Now I'm gonna go to my Bitcoin USD and I'm typing in new order and I'm going to click buy. Okay. Type in, choose buy by market. Okay. And then it says I'm excited. Good. It is exciting. Click buy, everybody. Click buy. As soon as you click buy, you're going to see some numbers moving. You're going to see the numbers moving. You should be in a trade. And it'll look like this. You see my phone? See? Bitcoin USD. You're going to be in an actual trade. This is you actually opening your first trade. Okay? When you first open the trade, usually it's going to be red numbers. But as it goes up or down, it's going to turn blue. So, for example, you chose a buy, right? You want Bitcoin to go up because when you go, yes, 0.01. Because when it goes up, okay, you're going to make money because you said that it was going to go up. If you choose sell and it goes down, you're going to lose money, okay? So this is basically what you're doing in the Forex market.
Well, you can wait for the market to reverse if you use a low enough lot size per, your balance that you're working with. So if you do make the wrong call or you make a call, it's going right, and your baby spills juice all over everything and you got to, run away and the market reverses on you, you didn't close out, you can't wait. There's techniques that we might be able to show you guys along this journey, okay, so that you can correct any situation that you're in and minimize your losses or maximize your gains. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm. Now, when I got in, it was like -$1. Now it's going up. It's starting to go up. It's like it's -35 cents. I want it to turn blue because when it starts to turn blue for stop loss and take profit, that's on the later part. Okay, this is just the basics right now. Okay, but when it's time for you to learn take profit, that's why we got to go over pips. Okay, it's very important that we go over pips. We go over leverage. So you can understand why we chose 0.01. Look, it turned blue. Let me see. Look, it turned blue. Oh, dang, it turned red by the time y'all see it. But it turned blue when I was just looking at it. It turned blue. That means you made money, okay? I just gave a random trade right now, okay? So now you're in the trade. We're going to let that sit. That's your first trade. Cool. Congratulations. That was pretty easy, right? Type of one if that was pretty easy, right? If you think that was pretty easy to type one, like, I just typed some numbers in my phone. Right. Mm-hmm. All right, cool. So the next thing I'm going to go over with you guys, okay, now that we have opened the demo account, what is a pip? We're going to go over what is a pip. A pip is going to be your best friend when you learn trading, okay? A pip is going to be your best friend. When you see people online who do Forex, they tell them, I caught 100 pips, I caught 50 pips, I caught 10 pips. They pretty much made money. Now, so what I want to do now is I'm going to go to the next session on what is a pip, all right? Let's see. Let me go to it. Do y'all want to go over what is a pip, or do y'all want to go over buy versus sell first? Okay? Do y'all want to go over what is a pip, or do y'all want to go over buy versus sell first? Let's see. Let me make sure. Let me see what they say. Okay. Do both. Said pip. Okay. Pip. Pips on pips on pips. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to tell you guys how simple it is to learn. Who feels like they can sit at home, you know, for an hour or two a day and learn all the steps that they need to take to make money, and just take an hour or two per day for the next 12 to 18 months to learn how to make 5% a day and get that $500,000. Okay, this is what I did. What I'm showing you guys right now, I literally just sat here and dove into my back office, and I did this. What I want to do is I want to be able to go through the back office with all of you guys, okay, together, because sometimes when you're doing this on your own, it can get kind of confusing, because when I first started, it was confusing to me. So what I'm doing, as we go, I'm going to explain to you what they're talking about as they go, and that's going to help you speed up your results, okay? So I'm going to go to what is a pip. As you can see, let me make sure, screen share. Gonna let that trade sit.
You told us to buy, right?
Yes. Did you buy? My brother said, oh, did you say buy? Okay, so as you can see in my back office, basically when people first join this academy, this is just a school. And it's an amazing school, and it's changing a lot of people's lives, okay? Now, what we first do is tell people to go through basics 1, 2, 3, 4 in the first week. So if you are new, you should be going through basics 1 through 4, okay? Also on, let me make sure, IML Universe, if you go to imluniverse.com, it literally gives you a basic blueprint on what you should be doing every day. The problem is if you come in, okay, to the education platform, which I'm showing you for free right now, okay, every Friday, okay, if you go through it, you'll be successful. But if you come in and you don't go through it, you're gonna, weeks and weeks are gonna pass by and you're not gonna learn anything, okay? So the first thing is, if you go to imluniverse.com, you go to trader, okay? On our team, we focus on trading, okay? And then people who want to help people, we do building. This is a training for building on this side, and this is training for traders. So I'm going to go over trading today, okay? Access training, because you don't have to talk to anybody to make money, all right? Now, the first phase is pretty cool. Phase 1, 2, 3. It literally walks you through your first 72 hours. Anybody who's on here, you have people on your team, or if you're on my team, you should have done this in the first 72 hours. Yes, I know sometimes it can be overwhelming. This is what I'm going over with you right now. So phase 2, this is your first 30 days, and phase 3 is your month 2 through 3. So anybody who's not in this, understand that this skill does take time, okay? It's okay. Nothing wrong with that. It's worth it. It costs people about $5,000 literally a week from the owner of this company to learn, to come out for the weekend. Every week they have to come for literally, 12 months to 2 years, and they're paying all that money, okay? This is nowhere near as much as what that is, and I'm grateful for it. So phase 1, first 72 hours. In the first 72 hours, okay, listen, you want to get plugged.
And what you call it,
huh?
That Mr. What's his name? Oh my goodness, help me.
I don't know what they're talking about. But yeah, it's gonna show you to get plugged in pretty much. Now, this is the setting up the MetaTrader 4, which we just did already. Good job, everybody. You already did this part. You just download the MetaTrader 4, and in the first 72 hours, anybody who comes on your team should be downloading, and you should be showing them how to do a demo account. This is why I'm making this. I'll be recording this in the training group so you can plug them in. But sometimes when you tag them and stuff, they do not go through it. I'm just being honest. So that's why I do weekly meetings with my team, so they can see I'm a live person, I'm a real person, and I'm here to help. Okay.
Yes.
So
and build a group to help your team out as well.
Yes, and then this is a demo account. Okay. Stuff like this. So if you're in already, this will be the first 72 hours, okay? So, yes, Tiffany, who invited you? Welcome, Tiffany. You'll be fine. Yes, Tiffany, you can still join. You would just get with Martha. Martha invited you, I think, right? Okay, you said, okay, yep. And she'll get you set up. This is why I do this, too, because sometimes when we are trying to help people, we really, truly are trying to help people, anybody who we tell about. They kind of don't understand how this works. So when you educate people, they understand. All right, so the next step, we're going to go over what is a pip. Now, let's see. This is basics 2. What is a pip? Right here. Right here. Let's watch it. Let me make sure. Hey, sister. Hey, Tita.
Yeah, you got the message.
Awesome. Awesome. So the next step is, what is a pip, guys? And I'm going to play this right here and just enjoy for now. All right. What are pips?
Hello, IML students. Today, you are going to learn about what are pips and how do you calculate them. Before we get started, here's a little bit about myself. My name is Adeze Duncan, representing iMarkets Live. Some of you may know me from Forex 101 on IML TV. Also, I was an educator for 10 years, and now I'm here educating you on the facts and methods of Forex. In order to get started on this journey, you need to remember one thing and one thing only. I am a student, always. This is very important for you to remember and to remind yourself of often. You will hear me use this phrase frequently as a reminder that you are a student that is learning a skill that will pay you for the rest of your life. Make sure that you take your time and learn what you need to learn. Pace yourself. Do not compare yourself to anyone else's progress. Always keep a winning mind frame and you will do very well in this industry. Upon finishing this video, you should have a very good understanding of the following questions. Read through them quietly to yourself. As you are taking notes, make sure to pause this video in order to answer these questions. Here is some important vocabulary that you may want to pause the video in order to write down. When you are finished, go ahead and resume. So what is a pip? A pip is nothing more than a unit of measurement that expresses the change in the value of the market. In other words, in the same way that you express time in minutes or in days or in hours, we're expressing the change in the market in pips. If it goes up, it went up a certain amount of pips. If it goes down a certain number of pips. It is nothing more than the fourth decimal number after the comma. You see in this picture here, the 13021. And by the way, that's not supposed to be a comma, it's actually a period. So that's really 1.3021. The 1 is the pip position. Now you know what a pip is. How do you actually calculate them? Remember, the pip is the fourth digit. So here's an example. Here's a scenario. You enter NZD/USD at 4.56567 and exit at 4.56772. How many pips did you gain or lose? And first of all, pay attention. Notice which numbers are the pips position. Okay, make sure you pay attention to that, because what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to subtract these numbers, but you have to know which one is the pip, which one is the one that has your focus. Now you know what a pip is. How do you actually calculate them? Remember, the pip is the fourth digit. So here's an example. Here's a scenario. You enter NZD/USD at 4.56567 and exit at 4.56772. How many pips did you gain or lose? And first of all, pay attention. Notice which numbers are the pips position. Okay, make sure you pay attention to that, because what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to subtract these numbers, but you have to know which one is the pip, which one is the one that has your focus. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take the 4.56772 and subtract it from 4.56567, and you're going to get, it's going to equal 0.00205. Now let me just stop and pause you. You know what? Some people can get all up in, frenzy about which one do you take first to subtract. If you want, go with the bigger number. If you end up with a negative number, who cares? Ignore the negative. So really, you could just punch these in any direction. The most important part is that you get that answer equals 0.00205. Now, one way that you can find out how many pips was in this situation is you take them, subtract them, and then you can divide by 0.0001. Is going to equal 20.5 pips. Why did you want to divide by 0.0001? Because remember, the pip is the fourth decimal place after, the fourth digit after the decimal place. So if you divide by that decimal, you're going to get 20.5. Now, if dividing numbers gives you the EBGBs, there's a whole other way that you can solve this. There's an alternative way. And this is the way that I personally like to use, because I don't like dividing numbers either. I'm not a dividing type of person. If you move the decimal over 4 places to the right, remember, the reason why we're moving it 4 places to the right is because the pip is the 4th digit to the right of the decimal. So if you take that point where it says equals 0.00205 and you slide that thing over 4 places, you will get the same answer. So here's what it looks like in, written out for you, for those of you who are visual people. See how I took the decimal and I slid it 1, 2, 3, 4 equals 20.5 pips. Super easy, super easy. We're going to do another example, don't worry. Before I go ahead and do another example, I did have to mention the pipette. Some brokers offer prices that are up to 5 decimal figures after the comma, and it's much more accurate, so they say. Really, what I say is it really just gets in your way, makes you mad, and you thought that you were calculating pips, but you really got confused with the 5th digit. So know that that number is the pipette. So in this picture, you see 1.3020, that 1 is the pipette. Let me tell you now, ignore that number. When you're calculating, don't even add it to your calculator. Or if you do, act like it's that invisible friend that you had. Or act like, I don't know how many of you guys had siblings. I had siblings. What I would do is I would pretend they were invisible. It used to make them really mad. I know I'm not the only one who did that. But that's what you do with the pipette. Act like it doesn't exist. The one that you care about is the 4th decimal place. So now here's our second example.
All right, so we're going to do this together because somebody said this looked like algebra, but it's not algebra. It's literally typing numbers in the calculator, okay, and typing it in and subtracting. So these are basically the pip, how you calculate how many pips, okay? Let me see if somebody said something. All right, so basically all you're doing is seeing, so this is the pair like you saw when you did the Bitcoin USD pair, which if you can see on, let me show you. Right now, on my trade, if you have your trade open, you can see it turn blue, right? That's what you want. But now it turned back red real quick. But you see when it turned blue, that means you're in profit and you're making money, okay? So what you do to calculate the pips, all you have to do is subtract, right? Very, very simple. If you take 1.09892, okay, and you subtract it from 1.6971, what is the answer to that? Everybody take out your calculator. This is not hard at all. All you're doing is punching in numbers. Okay? Let's see. 1.0989. Let me make sure. 1.09892 minus 1.16971. What's the answer to that, y'all? Okay. Ray said 0.07079. Okay. Who else got a number? Type the number that you get. I want everybody to type this in because somebody said this look like algebra and it's super not algebra. It's basic math. Like my daughter, she's in 2nd grade. She can do this.
People would probably be able to see the math easier if it was going across a line. And no matter if you got negative, this number or whatever, it doesn't matter how many pips did it move.
Yep, everybody typed in their calculator, right? Very, very simple. It look like everybody's getting the same number, 0.07079. It doesn't matter if you take the 1.16971 from the 1.09. So either way, it's okay. Ignore if you got a negative number, it doesn't matter. It's okay when you're calculating this part. So step 1 is you subtract the numbers from each other. Just write that in your notes. How to calculate pips. You should be taking notes, okay? Right, the first step is subtract the price, okay? Subtract the price that you're getting in at from the price that you want to get out at, okay? That's what they mean when they say you got in, meaning when you place that Bitcoin trade, you entered, okay? When you place that trade, if you didn't notice, it was a number on that trade. It was a price, okay? And it was like, 7,000 something or whatever it was. That's the price that they're talking about. But this is NZD USD. Now you subtract it. Everybody got 0.079. So she said the next step was to move the decimal place over 4 spots. Remember you in 1st or 2nd or 3rd grade? I can't remember what grade it was in. But they was like, slide the decimal places 4 to the right or 2 to the right. When if the number has 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 digits on the right side, then you move it over to the right 4 times. Write that down. If the number at the price that you got in, and remember you placed that Bitcoin trade, if the price has a decimal and it has 4 or 5 digits behind the decimal, once you subtract the numbers, you move it over 4 places to the right. Everybody write that down, okay? If you move over 0.07079 4 places to the right, what number do you get? Can anybody type the number? Richard says 707.9. Stingray says 7.9. Paula says 707.9. Okay, who else want to guess a number? When you moved over for us, Sadiqa says 707.9. Anybody else? When in Forex, remember this: the more that you practice, the more that you do, the more that you take action, the faster you will get it down. So when we're training, we're always doing and pausing the videos and doing exactly what they do. So if you typed in 707.9, you are correct. It's 707.9 pips. Type of 1 if that was simple to subtract and move decimals. Type of 1 if you think that was very, very simple to do. A lot of people think Forex is complicated, but it's not when you have the right people to explain it to you. See, that was simple. You just look at your notes and do exactly what we just did right now. Now let's go to the next thing of what she says. Now, on this slide, she has a typo on here, okay? So understand the number is going to be really close to what we had, but it's a little off, but she put the wrong number. She actually put the wrong number. I did this math over and over again, okay? I'm just saying.
Enter New Zealand dollar at 1.098992 and exit at 1.16971. How many pips? So right now, you should have your calculator out. You can pause the video. You should be subtracting these numbers to find out what that decimal answer is. So after taking it, you see that is 1.109892. I think I said that right. Minus 1.16971 is going to equal 0.07081. Notice I have this color coded. The 8 is blue because that's the pip. The 1 is red because that's the pipette. And what do we do with the pipette? Ignore them. Now remember, one way you can solve this, if you like to divide numbers, you just take 0.001 and you divide that decimal. So if you have...
Okay, so remember we got the number 0.07, we got 0.07071 or something like that. That's what we got. Instead of moving the decimal over 4 places to the right, what she said is when you get that number, once you subtract, you can just divide it by 0.0001. And you can also get the number. So let's do in our calculator, do 1.09892 minus 1.16971. And that's the same number that we got at first. Remember we got that first number? Okay? It was 0.07079. 0.07079. Instead of moving it over 4 places to the right, if you don't feel like doing it, if you get confused with that, just divide it by 0.0001. Okay, and you got 707.9. Did everybody get what I just said? Did everybody get what I just said? Instead of moving it over 4 places to the right, after you subtract, you can also divide it by 0.0001. So you want to write that in your notes. Once you subtract, you can either move it over 4 places to the right, or you can type in your calculator, press the button, type in divide, and then press 0.0001. And that's the other way to get the pips. That's very, very simple, okay? Very simple.
0.07081 in your calculator, you can hit the divide button and divide by 0.0001. You should get equals 7081. Remember, it's because it is the 4th digit. I'm going to sound like a broken record. 4th digit after the decimal. That's why you divide by 0.0001. And now for my favorite type of way of solving a problem. Remember, once you've got it solved, equals 0.0781, just move the decimal over 4 places to the right. Simple. Here's an example. Take 0.07081, slide the decimal over 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you go. Honestly, the reason why I like this is I can just look right at my phone and see that decimal and mentally see myself sliding the decimal over. But for those of you who like to use your calculators and divide, that's another option. So I just showed you 2 different ways that you can calculate pips. Now let's actually put it in action, because most of us aren't going to be looking at numbers like this. We're going to be looking at the chart. Why am I having you calculate pips like this? Because when you start analyzing charts, you're going to want to start calculating where's your take profit going to be? Where's your stop loss going to be? Now, of course, there are fancy tools like on.
All right, so how many pips were collected if you entered at 1.09207? Okay, let's take out the calculator. Let's do another one. See how simple this is. Okay, 1.09207 minus 1.08962. Okay, what's that number that everybody get? Did y'all do it? It's 1.09207 minus 1.08962. Okay. Did everybody do that? Sadiqa got 0.00245. Sandra got 0.00245. I got 0.00245. All right. Now, anybody tell me what's next? Can anybody tell me the next step after you get this number? Sadiqa, you going all ahead. She's coming from 24.5. I know that's right.
Yeah, I'm sneaking mine in there too.
Everybody says, y'all cheated. All right, everybody know the cat's out the bag.
Quick math.
The quick way is to move it 4 decimals to the right, or you can take that decimal and divide it by 0.0001. Everybody go up decimals to 2. All right, as you can see, this is simple. I'm going to show you how you can make money from these pips, because remember I said pips are very important. Does anybody have any questions before we go? Because a lot of people are getting this, and I don't want to leave anybody out who may be confused on what I just said. But you know, can you repeat it again? iPhones. Yes, you just the first step, write in your notes. Please have pen and paper. The first step is subtract the first number. Whatever. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Everybody got it. She's just playing. She's just playing, y'all. Okay, so everybody got it. Step 1, subtract the number, the entry number from the exit number, and then you move the places 4 decimals to the right, okay? Or divide by 0.0001, okay?
MetaTrader 4 or excuse me, TradingView. But to get you started, this is how it works. So let's say you enter, and I already have the entry price at 1.0927.
Also, I want to say real quick, guys, if you put in that Bitcoin order, what I want you to do really quickly is put in a sell as well. If you put in a buy for Bitcoin, please go back to your MetaTrader 4 and also put in a sell. And I want to show you what's going to happen. Just put in a sell. Remember, we went to the Bitcoin, put new order or trade, put in a sell as well. Does everybody know how to do that? You got that? Put in a sell.
Put in a sell.
A sell for Bitcoin.
From the back.
No, just go back and do the same thing you did, but choose sell.
You want to open up another order. Right?
Remember, you went to quotes and click sell.
Remember, you went buy last time.
Does everybody got that?
Sell.
Did everybody know how to place their sell for Bitcoin? Good job. Go back to quotes, go to Bitcoin USD, and click sell. Okay? As well, I need you to have 2 orders open, a buy and a sell. Okay? Buy and a sell. Have both open so I can show you later on. We're going to keep these trades going. We're going to keep them going. Everybody, make sure you put in a sell for Bitcoin, and on your screen, you should have a buy and a sell, 0.01. Okay, good job. Okay, now let's continue.
At where the blue is, at 1.08962. What do? You get it. You are going to subtract those numbers. It's going to equal 0.00245. You can slide the decimal over 4 places to the right, and then you end up with 24.5 pips. Hopefully, this is getting more simple. If not, please replay this video. There are some exceptions to the rules, such as pairs and gold pairs. In yen and gold pairs, the second decimal figures after the pip is, after the comma is the pip. So, for instance, look down here. It says, if USD JPY rose from 103.25 to 103.26, that deviation was 1 pip. Notice there's not 4 decimal places. There's not 4 digits after the decimal. This only applies to yen and gold pairs. Here's a really awesome picture that you can snapshot for your notes. Take a screenshot of it, take a picture of it.
Okay, so what she's basically saying, there are certain exceptions for moving the decimals 4 to the right. Okay, remember I said if after the decimal it has 1, 2, 3, 4 digits or 5, once you subtract the numbers, you move it over 4 to the right. Okay, remember I said that? Does everybody remember when I said that? But there is an exception. You want to write in your notes, exception. Okay, the exception is if there is 2 to 3 digits to the right of the decimal, you do the same thing. You subtract the numbers, but instead of moving the decimal over 4, you only move it over 2. Okay, you only move it over 2, or you divide it by 0.01. Okay, so let's do an example when it's only 2 or 3 digits to the right. And we're going to do, okay, let's do 1.273, okay, minus 1.245, okay? Did y'all get that? 1.273 minus 1.245, okay? Let me put it in. 1.273 minus 1.245. Okay, what did y'all get? All right, look at y'all. Yep, 0.028. 0.028. I said 1.273 minus 1.245. Okay, the answer is 0.028. Okay, so if the digit is 2 or 3 decimals to the right, remember instead of 4 moving it over 4 decimals, you only move it over 2. Okay, so if you move it over 2 decimals, okay, what is the number that you get? What's the number that everybody get? Yep, you can either move it over 2 decimals or you can just divide by 0.01. 0.01. Everybody got 2.8. That means 2.8 pips. Very, very simple. Just keep your notes by you when you're trying to determine.
Write it down until you get it. Notice how on one side you see 1.25418 and it shows you the pipette. And then on the right, remember what I told you to do with those pipettes? We ignore them. So you don't see an 8. You don't see a 3. Okay? So the top one is for pretty much every other pair. The bottom number, the 1.273, represents yen and gold pairs. So why not? Let's just calculate what it's like. So you enter ABC XYZ at 95.343. I didn't realize all this rhymed. And exit at 95.445.
Okay, let's do this one really quick. This is the last one. Okay? So I want to make sure y'all get it. She said you got in at 95.343, 95.343. So you take your calculator, 95.343 minus 95.445. Okay? Everybody got that? And you get 0.102 right here. 0.102. And then you just move the decimal over 2, not 4, 2 to the right, and you get 10.2, or you can divide by 0.01. It's the same math. It's like, first, second, or third grade, one of those. It's exactly what we did. Everybody got 10.2? Good, 10.2. Those 10.2 pips.
How many pips did you gain or lose? So hopefully you kind of understand the gist of it. You take 95.343 minus 95.445 equals 0.102. Now, notice how you divided by 0.01. Why did you do that? You did it because there are 2 placeholders after decimal. Remember, on yen and gold pairs, the pip is the second digit after the decimal. So that's why you would divide by 0.01. That's one way of doing it. Now, the other way of doing it, you already know, is slide the decimal place 2 spaces to the right. Remember, 2 places because the pip is the second digit to the right of the decimal in yen and gold pairs. So here's a screenshot of a yen pair. Notice right here where it says where you entered. You entered at 111.443 and exited at 111.909. Okay? Now, what do? You subtract them and you should get 0.446. If you slide the decimal 2 places to the right, you should get 44.6 pips. Hopefully it's making sense. Hopefully it's starting to make sense to you. All right, now I want you to try. Practice. How many pips did you get? If you entered, notice at the bottom, your entry is at the bottom at 144.549, and you exit at 136.06. How much did you gain? And here's another question. Was this a buy or a sell? Well, why would you get in for this? Would you get in for a buy or would you be getting in for a sell? So 2 questions. How many pips? And would you be getting in for a buy or a sell? Oh, all right. So hopefully you've done the math. If you did the math, you should have got something like this, 8.489 in your calculator. So now if you slide the decimal over 2 places, that's 848.9 pips. And by the way, this would have been a very good buy order. You wouldn't have gotten something like this unless you were doing like a long-term order. By now, you should have a good understanding of the following questions. Read them quietly to yourself, and when you are finished, go on to the next video in this series.
All right, does anybody have questions on how to calculate pips? Does anybody have any questions on that? All right. Let me see if anybody have any questions. Let's see. Okay. T said go back.
Okay. And don't forget, guys, it's going into the weekend and it's Easter's. This would not be a great time to be trying to jump in, jumping in those trades.
Okay.
Not a lot of movement going on.
Okay, so why did she? It was a buy because they got in the entry right here. The entry is right here. That means we got in right here. Okay, and then we exited right here. That means that price went all the way up. Okay, so when you buy low, sell high, pretty much. You bought low down here, and then the price went all the way up here, and you got out. That means you got in for a buy. Meaning you entered at a buy, you click buy, buy whatever pair this was, NZD, USD, and then you said, oh wow, it went up 848 pips. Now if you had a lot size of like a dollar or whatever, that would have been like $8,000. And we haven't gone over lot sizes yet. This is why we want to go over pips first, so you can understand the correlation between lots and pips. But you see how we were right here, we got in right here, and then it went up to you.
Can you go to the trading view screen, please, real quick? Because they need to see that the charts in the markets are based off of time and price only. That's it. Time and price.
Yep.
And that's, maybe they can't see that. Maybe it's hard to understand.
Let me go on. I'm going to go on
the math. If you did the math,
also go on let's see. I'm going to go to tradingview.com and I'm going to show you how do you know the difference between a buy and a sell. So tradingview.com. This is a tool that a lot of Forex traders use to chart. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean when I say a buy or sell. Okay, let me share my screen really quick. Okay, share screen. Okay. So right here, this is what you'll be looking at in the real, what's the word? Example in the real world. I'm just gonna put an example. I'm gonna put a line where we saw like a good place to get in at. So right here at the bottom, I just put a line right here. Say for example, you didn't see none of this. Okay? You didn't see none of this, right? And you just saw this red candle and then you saw this green candle, right? And say you got in right here, you saw this and you were like, oh, okay, I think it's about to go up. You got in right here. You want to see a bunch of green candles go up here. If you want to, that's how you win. I call it winning, okay? Because you want to see green candles coming up. That means you place the buy in thinking that the price is going to go up. And when it goes in your favor, okay, you make money. So as you can see, as you waiting, and you see that it went up here. That means you should be in the blue if you place this trade, okay? And then it's going, it's going, it's going. It went back down a little, but eventually went all the way up here. And that's what she was pretty much saying in her example. You got in right here, and then in price went all the way up here. That's what happened. And then on her example, you had made 800 and something pips. They call it pips. As price go up or down, they call them pips. Okay? Did you get that, Tia? That makes sense. You got in low at the price right here. So for example, you bought a house at, $122,000, and then it went up to $123,000, which you can see the price right here on the right. You would buy it. You bought the house. You bought it because you was thinking that it's going to go up to $123,000 instead of $122,000. It's just like kind of like real estate. And then you got out when it got this and you took the profits. That's pretty much what Forex is. So awesome.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Weren't we supposed to buy with the Bitcoin?
Mm-hmm.
But then you also later tell us to open up a new order for sale.
Mm-hmm.
Was that just so we get into that idea?
Yeah, the idea of buying and selling, and you will see if you watch your trade a little bit, it'll go blue and it'll go red, and it's just showing you like that's how much you made, pretty much when you open those trades.
When it hit blue, so if the sale went to blue because it's tending to go blue, at what point will we close that order?
Okay, so my brother, he said, okay, so we placed a buy and a sell on Bitcoin. He said, at what point will we close the trade? Because if you got in on that buy, it's pretty negative right now. If your goal was to make, $100 for that day, you would close it at $100. That's what it means. So if you're looking at the compounddaily.com and if you got into that Bitcoin trade and you saw it went blue $5, that's your 5% on day one if you started with $100 and you just get out. Okay. Now, this is an example for $100 at 5% a day.
Oh wow.
So yep, it's $651,000 a year. It's so crazy. He said when. So you started off on day one and you made $5, right? So if you placed that Bitcoin trade, you made $5, you will hurry up and close as soon as you made $5. And then you made your money for the day. And you probably saying $5, that's not a lot. But if you go down the line, every day you follow this and you hitting your goals, as you can see, once it gets around, what's this, 100 days, you're at 30,000. And then as you go down, it just starts to add up like crazy. $9,000 a day, $11,000 a day. It's just patience and consistency. That's all Forex is. This is not the end of it. This is just the basics of the idea of, pips and stuff like that. Okay. And now tomorrow we're gonna go over lot sizes. I'm gonna go over lot sizes really quick so I can show you how do you know how much money you're gonna make from the thing. This is gonna be the last thing for today, and then we're gonna wrap it up, and we're gonna come back tomorrow for the strategies and stuff and how you actually know when to get in and when to get out. Okay, so do you kind of see?
It really hit me just now how it goes.
He said it really hit me how it go.
Tell them I'm from the cry.
My brother said he about to cry. He crazy. So let me go to lot sizes. I think that's on lot size is going to show you how much you're going to make. So what are leveraging lots? So let's watch this one, and then it's going to be the last one. You're going to see how it almost all come together, but not all the way. But if you place that trade, but like my brother was saying, like you see, if it went blue $5, you would have closed it for your goal.
For your goal.
That's your goal. You have your goals every day when you're doing your trade. Let's see. Somebody have a question. Tia said, hey.
Who's Tia again?
Yeah, sister.
Oh, that's the same Tia.
Yeah, Tia.
Hey, Tia.
He said, hey, Tia. Yes. All right. Okay, so what are leverage? He said, sweet doctor.
Oh, biochemist.
Biochemist. All right. Yeah.
Hello, IMO students. Today we are going to learn about leveraging and lots. Before we get started, here's a little bit about myself. My name is Adeze Duncan, representing iMarkets Live. Some of you may know me from Forex 101 on IML TV. Also, I was an educator for 10 years, and now I'm here educating you on the facts and methods of Forex. In order to get started on this journey, you need to remember one thing and one thing only. I am a student, always. This is very important for you to remember and to remind yourself of often. You will hear me use this phrase frequently as a reminder that you are a student that is learning a skill that will pay you for the rest of your life. Make sure that you take your time and learn what you need to learn. Pace yourself. Do not compare yourself to anyone else's progress. Always keep a winning mind frame, and you will do very well in this industry. Upon finishing this video, you should have a very good understanding of the following questions. Read through them quietly to yourself. As you are taking notes, make sure to pause this video in order to answer these questions. Before we go into the lesson, I want to actually talk about some very relevant vocabulary. So please make sure you take some good notes on these vocabulary words. Now let's recall what a pip is before we actually get to talking about leverage. Remember, a pip is the change in price and an exchange rate. Remember that movements occur to the fourth decimal place out. So these are very small movements. I'm going to talk about this more shortly. Let's also recall how you profit. Remember, you're buying and holding. So you're capitalizing on the difference in exchange rates. You buy an exchange rate at a certain price, and you turn around and sell it at a different price. These exchange rates change in the form of pips. That's how we measure it, similar to how we measure time in minutes. In order to make some money, you're going to have to purchase a large amount of units of currency. Remember, guys, you're purchasing rates, units of currency in the form of pips. So you'd have to purchase a large amount of currency. So I have an example here. Let's say you bought the Euro USD at 1.10895, and then you decide to cash out at 1.10973. Now that's actually a difference of 7 pips. So think about it. If you only came to the market and you were able to buy up enough to make 7 pips off the market, you would have made 0.00078 cents, which is pretty much nothing. So you would have to come to the market with quite a large amount of money. Looking at that difference of 7 pips, how much money would you actually have to come to the market with in order for it to be worth something? So let's say you invested $1 into the Forex market. On $1 and you gained 7 pips, $1, okay, you would get 0.00078 cents. Really nothing. If you invest $10 of your own money into the market, now you're at 0.000, oh wait, hold on a second, I'm looking, you get it, 0.78 cents, okay? And then what if you come with $100? All right, finally you're in the race. You've just made almost 8 cents in the market. If you invest 100 of your dollars, you just had a return of about 8 cents. If you invest $1,000 of your own money on 7 pips that you've gained, now you have just made 78 cents. Whoop-de-doo, right? $10,000. Now you've made $7.80. If you come to the market with $100,000, now you've made $78. That's really not a very good return on investment. You understand that now. Now you see why, in order to get into the Forex market long before internet and all these online brokers, you would have had to come to the table with a lot of money. Most investors did not come with anything less than 100,000. That's even laughable. Nothing less than 500,000. You would have had to invest some serious money, ongoing money, to be able to reap those good returns. One thing I want you to notice where you actually started to make money. Notice you actually started making money at around $1,000, $10,000, $100,000. There actually is a name for those numbers, for those higher numbers. So now this brings me to lots. This is one of those vocab terms. What is a lot? A lot is referring to a contract being made of a certain size, aka those sizes that I was just talking about. You purchase them in bundles of units called lots, and they're standardized contract sizes, okay? So it's no different than if you wanted to buy, say I have this picture of water. If you wanted to buy some water, a 32 pack, and you go to the store, you can't just say, I want to just buy one of those water bottles out of 32. You have to buy the whole bundle. So now what your online brokers have done is they've gotten together and they've created standardized contract sizes in the form of lots. So these are the lot sizes that I was talking about. These are standardized contract sizes. So you have a standard lot, which is 100,000 units, a mini lot, which is 10,000 units, a micro lot, which is 1,000 units, and a nano lot, which is 100 units. Okay, so remember when I showed you that screen, you didn't really start actually making any money off of 7 pips until you got to around $1,000. So that's why people now buy them. Like instead of saying, I want 10, let me just get 10 lots, let me get a little small 10 piece. You're not going to do that anymore. Not in the Forex market. It takes money to make money. Looking at this screen, you can see how.
All right, so this is one of the other important parts. This is something that you want to write down and make a flashcard for, something that you want to write down in your notes. This is the pip part, calculating the pips, and also understanding what's the lot sizes. So if you remember when we placed the trade earlier, if everybody remembers placing that trade, or you can go back to the quotes and choose a pair, and it said new order or trade. Remember that decimal that we put in 0.01? Type a yes if you remember. When we had that, we saw that decimal and it was market execution and it said 0.01. Okay. If everybody remember that, good. You can change it from 0.01 to 0.1 to 1.0. I'm sorry, from 0.01, 0.1, 1.00, 2.00, whatever, right? This means, remember when we were calculating pips? Okay, so what happened was when we did that Bitcoin trade and we did 0.01, okay, follow along with me. We did 0.01. This is the lot size. This is the part that you want to remember. Type in your notes, write lot sizes. You want to write standard lot 1.00, mini lot 0.10, micro lot 0.01. These are the 3 that we use most when we trade. This one is very rare, okay? And then next one, you want to write $10 per pip. Next to 1.00, you want to write down $1 per pip, 0.10 per pip. We're going to write that down right now or put it on a flashcard. That's what I had to do when I first started, because you're not going to remember this right off the bat. You're going to have to keep on practicing and studying which one each one is, and you'll get it. Okay? So remember when we did that trade and we had got like 700 pips? Y'all remember that? When we calculated that one calculation where we subtracted and we got the answer and it was like 700 pips. Y'all remember that? Type of 1 if you remember that. When we did the calculation, it was like 700 pips. Okay? If you remember that, just type of 1 so I can make sure everybody following along. Okay? Remember when I said that pips are really, really important? The reason is, look at this. So remember when we did the trade, we had 0.01 for Bitcoin. That means if we got 700 pips, we would have made 10 cents per pip on a 0.01 lot size. We placed the Bitcoin trade, it was 0.01 when we did it. And then that means for 0.10 pip, that means per pip we make 10 cents. So let's go to our calculators again. Say for instance, we got in a trade on Bitcoin and we did our analyzation. I didn't go over analyzation yet because you got to get this part first. And we knew that Bitcoin was going to go up 700 pips. Let's do 700 pips times 0.1, which is 10 cents. Even though we put in 0.01 as the lot size, each pip that it goes up or that it went up, if we place a buy, we will make 10 cents. So what's the answer that we get when you do 700 pips times 10 cents per pip? $70. Okay, great. That means on the seven, if we got 700 pips on that Bitcoin trade that we just placed right now, we would have made 10 cents per pip. Okay. Now, if we would have put, instead of 0.01, we put 0.1 in the lot size section, which is that middle section. That means you make $1 per pip. Okay. This is where the big money is starting to get bigger money. So if we had 700 pips times $1, how much is that? How much do we make on that trade? Yep, $700. Yep, $700. Okay. This is where this is where you are putting in your trade, and you trying to figure out what lot size do you use, because you're not gonna always use 0.01. All right, this is how you know how much money. So if we put in 1.00 instead of 0.01, we would have made $10 per pip. So on a 700 pip trade, how much money would have made if we placed in 1.00? $7,000. Do you see how powerful Forex is when you just take the time to learn it? Now, this is just the basics, okay? This is just the basics. This is how you see the potential. Yep, $10 times 700 is $7,000. This is why you want to write down this lot size section so you can know how much you're making once we start to get into analyzing trades, calculating how much pips you want to make for the day, all that good stuff. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on this part so far? If you want to know how much money you're gonna make, you just type in, you just multiply the how much you make per pip, okay, times the pips. Okay. These are the lots. The lots are different. So you gotta understand when you place in a trade, you're gonna put your lot size, but this is the amount you make. You don't type this in your entry when you're making a trade. You don't type this, you just know in your head that you're gonna make 10 cents per pip, $1 per pip, or $10 per pip. Now you can do, if we did a 2.00, right? If we did 2.0, how much per pip are we making? If we did a 2.00 lot instead of a 1.00 lot, how much per pip are we making if you're looking at the chart right here? If 1.00 is $10 per pip, how much is 2.00? My brother, he gonna say 14,000. These are the lot sizes right here.
Wait, what was the question?
If 1.00 lot size is $10 per pip, how much is 2.00 lot size? 2.00. You wasn't paying attention. See? Okay, so remember we did the Bitcoin trade.
All right, yeah, right. $20 per pip.
We making 10 cents per pip on 0.01.
Oh, point. I thought you just asked 1.
I did 1 point. It would be $20. You got that right.
What you just asked me?
I just asked for 0.01.
Oh yeah. Okay, 20 cents.
Okay, not 20 cents. It's I said 0.01. You got to write this on the chart.
0.01.
Right, how much you make per pip?
That's 10 cents.
Right, so if we got 700 pips, how much do we make?
We already went past this part.
He told us that we went past this part now. You see what I did with y'all? Okay, so y'all got it right. 1.00, if you do 2.00 lots, you're making $20 per pip. So if you're making $20 per pip, how much did you make on a 700 pip trade?
Right, that's what I thought you was
saying. How much was it? What'd you say?
Wait, you said, right, 14?
I'm saying, he looking at the answers now. He cheating.
Look at my calculator.
Yep. Terrible. You got it right. Yep, 14,000. That's a lot of money, y'all. That's one trade. What if you took the same trade every day? You made $14,000 a day. People are actually doing that in real life. Okay. Now let's take some time to learn, of course, but do you think it'd be worth it to actually take time to learn this skill? I'm not saying you're gonna learn this in 2 seconds, y'all. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if you take the time to learn this, all right, even if it take you 12 to 18 months to learn, okay? You so busy, you only got like 30 minutes a day. If you take it will be just so worth it. Some people retirement plans are not even this lucrative. You know what I mean? Some people don't have a retirement plan. And that's what we're trying to spread the word of Forex because it's so powerful. Okay? Awesome. Yes. So I'm gonna let Daisy finish this up.
Lot sizes can correlate to the profits and losses. So a lot of people get very excited about standard lots Because at $100,000, you're now able to make around $10 per pip. At a mini lot, you're able to make about $1 per pip. At a micro lot, you're able to make about 10 cents per pip. And at a nano lot, you're able to make about 1 cent per pip. Most standard size accounts will only let you trade between a standard lot and a micro lot. You would have to get a special account in order to trade nano lots. Those are pretty much trading pennies. Mm-hmm. You're actually making pennies off of a pip versus 10 cents. Oops. Per pip. Something else I wanted to point out was that column that says volume. Instead of going to your MetaTrader 4, you're not going to see 100,000 units. You're going to see something that says volume, or it might not even say volume. It's just going to show decimals. Those decimals stands for volume. If you put 1.0, you are now purchasing a standard lot. If you do 0.10, you're purchasing a mini lot. If you do 0.01, you're purchasing a micro lot, and you get it, so on and so forth, okay? So make sure you have that right. 1.0 does not mean you're going to be making $1 per pip. That means you are purchasing a standard lot. So you want to make sure you're very attentive to that area. That is the #1 area where people lose a lot of money, because they either, one, enter things the wrong way, or they don't fully understand the importance of risk management, which we will teach you going forward. This is what it looks like on a computer for those of you who like to trade off of the computer. What I was talking about with volume, that 1.0 right there, that means that person is trading using a standard lot. You can change it. It doesn't just have to be 1.0. It can be 2.0, which now means you're getting $20 per pip. It can be 5.0, which means you're getting $50 per pip. Here's what it looks like on a phone. And I really just included only one. So you've got, this is an iPhone, but it looks very similar on an Android. It doesn't actually say volume. It's more of just a decimal. So in this situation, this person is trading with 0.05, which means they're going to be making 50 cents per pip. Okay, does that make sense? If they had 0.08, that means they're making 80 cents per pip. So they're basically trading with a micro lot, or with 5 micro lots. If you're trading with 10 standard lots, then that means you're going to be making $100 per pip. If you're trading with 10 micro lots, well, that's pretty much your now you're trading with a mini lot. So anyhow, you get it. So now that we know what types of contracts are which, let's go back to our scenario where you made 7 pips out of the market, okay? When you look here, remember, on a standard account, you cannot trade anything less than $1,000. Why? Because you're going to be making pennies, and then after that, you're not going to be making really anything. So that's why there's only these standard contracts, such as micro, mini, and standard. And remember, on a micro account, a micro contract, you can make 10 cents per pip. So in this situation, it makes sense that you made 78 cents. All right, because it goes by tens. You take your 7 pips and you multiply it by 10. On a mini contract, you can make dollars per pip, $1. So in the event that you happen to go up 7 pips, that makes sense that you made $7.80. Now remember, on a standard account or standard lot, you can make $10 per pip. So it makes sense that when you've made 7 pips out of the market, if you take 7 times 10, you've now made $78 per pip. Now the real question you might be sitting here scratching your head and asking is, so do I really need to bring $100,000 or more to start trading? Well, yeah, duh, of course you do. Just kidding. You make sure you always read the fine print. No, you do not need to bring $100,000 or more. And there is one main reason, one superpower in the online market. And that superpower is referred to as leverage. Oh, sorry, that's my amazing music. Sparkle, sparkle. It's leverage. Leverage is what allows you to bring whatever money that you can bring together to the market to be able to trade with the big boys. Let's talk about this leverage. When you signed up with your broker, you were asked to select a certain leverage amount. You might have been told to select a 1 to 100 or 1 to 200. It goes all the way up to 1 to 4,000. So you selected something, most likely not knowing why you selected those. What exactly is leverage? Before I even go all the way into that, It's a strategy that allows you to use borrowed money, borrowed capital, to increase your potential returns. So you use leverage in the market, you use leverage when you're buying a house, you use leverage in real estate, you use leverage when you invest, period. It just makes more sense. You saw in the illustrations earlier, you could bring $100,000 and still only make $78. That's not exciting. That's not fun. You know, who wants that kind of return on investment? That's what you get from your banks, pretty much. In leverage, in order to be able to take part in leveraging, you would have to have a deposit. So you would have to come with some money. But your money is going to be more like a down payment than anything. Instead of having to come to the table with $100,000, now you can come to the table with a certain amount of money in order to be able to use that money to leverage more money. Now back to what I was talking about as far as, you know, when you selected that leverage when you first got into your broker. So for instance, let's say you selected a 1 to 200 leverage. That actually means that for every $1 in your account, your broker is going to let you leverage $200. So let's say you deposit $1,000. Now you have the ability to use up to $200,000. It's pretty awesome. So here's another example, another leverage example. So let's say you selected the 1 to 100 leverage. That means if you deposit $1,000, you now have access to up to $100,000. Remember, for every $1 you deposit, your broker will allow you to make 100. If you selected the 1 to 4,000 leverage, which is crazy, that would mean if you deposited $1,000, you would have access to up to $4 million. Sounds really tempting, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Something I want to point out to you, though. Remember, when you selected your whatever leverage you selected, that leverage. So let's say you selected a 1 to 200 leverage. That would be considered your maximum leverage, meaning that is the most you can take out. That's like if you go to buy a house and you give them, you know, $50,000, they loan you $300,000. It's not very wise to use all $300,000. You know, it's not necessarily the best idea to do that. You want to give yourself some room to move around, to breathe. Especially if you're trying to renovate the house, you want to give yourself room to, you know, for renovation expenses and whatnot. Your true leverage is what you actually use at any given time. So let's say you're approved to use up to $300,000, but you go and buy a house that's about $100,000. Now you still have a lot of room to move around. All right. It's not wise to use the max amount of leverage in any one trade. You can use all of the money, but as long as you diversify it, that's what you want to do. You want to be able to diversify. So never use 100% of your account in any one trade. Very bad idea. And here we go again with a review on our original situation. Remember when you made 7 pips out of the market? If you want to really come to the market with $100,000, go for it. Make that $78. Woohoo! Yay. Or not. See, with leverage, now your ROI percent can increase without having to deposit that much money. In other words, if you come to the market with somebody else's money, you have the ability to grow your account significantly, much more than you would coming with your own money. Some people really like, ooh, I don't want any debt. But honestly, it works really good when it comes to investing. It takes money to make money. Yay for OPP. So what do I mean by ROI? Return on investment, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about. Let's say, remember, you deposit $100,000 of your own money, big baller, and make 7 pips. Your ROI percent would be 0.07%. Wah, wah, wah. Not really exciting. Now, if you deposit $1,000 of your own money and make 7 pips using a 1 to 100 leverage, which allows you to trade up to $100,000, your ROI would now jump to 7%. Much better. Look at that. You deposited less money and still come out with a better ROI percent. It only makes sense, and that's why leverage is amazing. I already said it earlier, but I will say it again. Leverage can be awesome, but leverage can hurt just as bad without proper money management. By now, you should have a good understanding of the following questions. Read them quietly to yourself, and when you are finished, go on to the next video in this series. Thank you so much. My name is Adeze Duncan, and
all right. Does anybody have any questions on that chart where it tells you how much you make per pip, per lot size? That's out of all this whole video, that's the most important part you need. Like when I first started, I didn't know anything about Forex, so I'm giving you kind of the shortcut about the main things that you really want to need. You still want to go through this, but I'm telling you the important part that's all you need. It's certain parts that I don't even know about Forex still, but I know how to make the money part. That's what I'll check. I'm not gonna lie. So you need that chart where it says the volume per pip and stuff like that, because once you learn how to analyze these charts, now you're gonna make the big money. Now, what I'm gonna show you right now, really quick before we get off, is this wonderful, lovely chart. This is one of my favorite charts. Okay, so if you are doing a trade, let me tell you how much money you can make just with getting 10 pips a day. Not even 700 pips like she showed you. 10 pips a day, right? Oh, what? Matter of fact, let's do 10 pips a day. Okay, 10 pips a day, and you started off. Let's say you started off with 500 bucks. Because when you first start, you may not know which lot size to do. You can't just start trading and putting in all types of lot sizes.
No, stop. You need to go back to share screen and switch screens.
Oh, do I need to?
Yes.
Let me share my screen. Okay.
Right there.
Good looking. Okay, so right here, let me show you. Very, very powerful. So the strategy is 5%. It's your own personal goals. You can do 3% a day. You can do 1% a day. If you're new, you can start off with smaller amounts. But that's why it's important to start your trading plan and how much money do you want to make to retire or get a car, get a house, or whatever you're trying to get. That's your personal goals. That's why when I first teach people, I say, write down your goal. What is your goal? How much money do you want to make per day? Say somebody wants to make $50 a day. That's their goal. Okay. If their goal is 5% a day, that's their goal. This is why we want to know our numbers. So for example, you start off with 500. Oops. Let me change this. 10 pips. Say for example, you're going for 10 pips a day. Okay. I haven't went over how to actually get these pips yet, but you have to know the basics, because if I would have went to that, you would have been like, what the heck is a pip? What's the lot size? What is that? Okay. Let me show you. So if you start with 500 bucks, this is just a chart. You starting out your goal, you know you got 500 bucks, right? And your goal is 5% a day. I want to go for 10 pips every day in the market, right? This will be your lot size. So if you're like, I don't know what lot size to put, and you don't want to over leverage, don't want to go crazy and stuff, you can just use this chart that I have right here, okay? And you would know that you need to put in a lot size of 0.25, and your goal is 10 pips. Now, and this is how you know every day, second day, your goal is $26.25. And you know when you place that trade, for example, if you see a good trade on Euro USD and you say, oh, this is going to go 10 pips, which as a newbie, you're not going to know that right now, of course. Okay, I haven't gotten into that part. That's the part of the education that's next, but this is the basic. And then you say, open up my Euro USD like you placed the Bitcoin trade, and where it said 0.01, you will put 0.26, okay? And at the end of 60 days, if you follow this plan, this is why you have a goal, you have an intention, you have a strategy, okay? That's the important part. The first part of the strategy is knowing the numbers. So in 60 trading days, from $500, you will have $8,894. Once you get to $8,894, you just type into this box right here, because you start over. You're not really starting over, but you just type in where the balance that you have for the day, or whatever it was, 8,500. I don't remember what it was. But you just start from the next day. You just like starting over. Now you're doing 4.25. You can even do 5 pips. If you just like, I don't have time, I just want to go for 5 pips, and I want to go for, 1% a day. I mean, it's up to you. Okay? This is what we're going to go over in the next trainings. Okay? Yes, it's in a training group in the file section. If you're a part of the team, it shows you the rest of this. And if you're new, make sure you go to basics 1 through 4 in technical analysis, so we can show you how to use the amazing products. Now, normal traders, they have to analyze charts and stuff like that, like all day, and go through all these pairs. But the cool part is we have products that call out pairs, and we actually have signals on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. From actually every time I trade, I give out the trades that I'm doing for the day because I'm making money every day. So I give it to the team where I will literally put buy Euro USD, and you go to your thing, you go to your account, and you type it in the MetaTrader 4 like you did the Bitcoin, and then you go to the chart, and that's how you know a lot size based on your account size. Okay. That's how we make money every single week on our team while you're learning this skill. That's the cool part. So you would demo first, of course, practice, and then there we go. So if nobody has any questions, that's all I have for today. Tomorrow we are going to go over some cool strategies, team strategies. You have to be a member or part of the team to get that part of the training. Okay, and then just ask for the link. If you have people on your team, make sure they watch this recording because I did record it. Okay. I did record it, all right? So when new people come in, they can watch this and know exactly what to do. Because a lot of people on here, it seems like people were getting it. That's really good. Sometimes when you're trying to learn on your own, it's a little bit hard. So I'm going to come back on the same time tomorrow at 8 p.m., okay? And I will go over some more things. You can ask questions, and then we're going to go over, the IML Academy together so that everybody can start profiting. And then when on Tuesday, I'm going to give out, I'm going to be trading, okay? And I'm going to be giving you signals so you actually profit from the thing. So if you have the Bitcoin trade open, make sure you close it. If you put in the sell, you will see that you made $2.50. Woohoo! It's not much, but I just called out a random trade. So let's close it. The way that you close it, everyone, you go back to your trade, go click trade. You're welcome. I'm glad, Juliet, you got on. I know Juliet, she said she was having a hard time. She didn't understand anything. She got it. That's amazing. I love it. I don't want people to quit because they don't understand. You know what I mean? Because it's a life-changing skill. So let's go back to the trade. You want to learn how to go live? Yep, we'll go. You'll learn. First you go demo, and then you go live once you're comfortable. Okay. So let's close this buyout. Just click it. Let's click trade, y'all. Click trade. And then go to the screen. So say Bitcoin USD negative $11. Hold it down. Click close order. Click close with loss at $11.28. Okay, that's fine. And then go to Bitcoin sell and click close order. And let's close it with profit. Just imagine that this blue where the sell you close. Just imagine that said $100. Just imagine it said $1,000. Just imagine it said 14,000. This was your real money. Wouldn't that be awesome? That's what we're doing every single week. Okay. Now let's close it with profit. Boom. Everybody close with profit. That's how you close your trade. And once you close it, that means it's going to add it to your balance or subtract it if you lost. Now trading, you can win or you can lose. The better that you get on your skills, the more time you spend learning, the better you'll get, the more money you'll make, okay? Now, you're not going to win every time. I want you to understand that. I don't want you to think that you're going to start trading, you're going to win every day. So I'm winning every day for but you're going to lose.
You got the harmonic scanner, buddy, okay?
He said I got the
You got the harmonic scanner.
I'm using the products. I'm not going to lie, okay? But I'm also using the technical skills that they taught me. There's people in the company who have access to the harmonic scanner, but they don't know how to use it. We actually going to teach you how to use it. We also have strategies on the web analyzer, okay, that people are doing amazing with, and that's what we're going to show you guys, okay? All right. Nobody has any questions? All right. I love you guys. You have a wonderful day. I hope you got value from this, and get back with the person who invited you if someone invited you. And let's have a great day. Love you, Tia. Have a good night. See you, everybody.
You're glowing.